The views, comments, and opinions of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of Morris Media Studios, MorrisMediaLive.com, or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
Hey, what's up, people? Welcome to another weekly podcast of Young Voices Making Choices. I'm Zach Jones.
Keela Roden Jr., how y'all doing?
I'm Aspen McCarr.
Bay Holloway.
So let's jump into the things you should know about May. May is the month of prayer. It's a month of prayer. That's something that the nation should be mindful of. And I would also like to ask my co-host, Mr. Akila, to start us off in prayer.
Well, you know, today's National Prayer Day, established by Ronald Reagan, which is kind of ironic to make this today's National Prayer Day. So we just want to start off with a word of prayer. Father God, we want to say thank you for everything that you've done thus far, everything you're getting ready to do, and everything you've already done, God. So, Lord, we bless you, we praise you, we honor you for giving us life, health, and strength. Lord, we ask that you touch our community, touch our people, Father, with so much hurt, harm, and danger going on. We ask for a special covering. We ask that you continue to let us walk in love and walk in peace. Forgive us of our sins and let us be better people for you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Well, you know, May is also the time of year where we're supposed to date our mates. So, you know, it's right after spring. When spring get cracking, you find your little spring flower.
That way.
Single club over here. But what does that look like? You know, what does that look like? You finding a mate or trying to get you a mate? You know, everybody trying to not be booed up for summertime or not be booed up for summertime. So what does that look like? You know, you guys find a mate. Not Zach. I'm not going to start with you, Zach. You want to stay single. It's cool, though. I get it. I'm with you. What about you, ladies? To be found. Let me say that. You guys don't search. You guys are found.
To date our mate, I think it looks like appreciation. So, like, maybe roses if your girl is into roses. If she likes food, take her to some food places she likes, you know.
Spend some money. That's what
I'm a simple girl. I pretty much like picnics and, like, outings and stuff. So, I figure any act of appreciation is
Love
a
language.
great start.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
What about you, babe? What's your love language?
See, my love language is words of encouragement and affirmation and physical touch. But but other than that, but like I feel like finding my mate is like building a foundation with someone. Like, cuz nowadays it's about being booed up and like making moves. If you realize, like, when you see people booed up, they going on vacation, they building businesses and building brands. You want somebody that you can like build with and like create something.
Right.
So I don't want my
type.
dating to be just messing around or whatever, because I can
intentional.
do that. Like intentional dating.
Okay.
That's
I feel it.
You got to come strong after that.
No. I agree with what Babe's saying, because really and truly, it's kind of like, you know, you've been in the game for a bit, you know what I'm saying? You take a little break and then you come back to the game and then you realize that, you know, there's more to it than just like, okay, well, this is May or this is February, you know, this is Valentine's Day. I need somebody, you know what I'm saying? I think a lot of it is about like also like building yourself first before you go into someone's life, you know what I'm saying? I've been talking to people. I talk to my moms about this. But just like building yourself before you enter someone's life, you know what I'm saying? So that when you're not putting your insecurities on them, and also, you know, it's up to them too. You find the right person, you know, they build their self where it's no longer us putting insecurities on each other. It's like, okay, no, we just building each other up. You know what I'm saying?
All right, Zach.
So,
yeah, I think you had it in you. Well, me personally, man, I'm learning at the edge of my relationship things. You guys know I started a family real young. Didn't really have a chance to explore my full singleness.
Big man.
Mind your business. But I do realize, like, with love and everybody's taking vacation. Everybody is at a place in life like we're trying to be intentional. Like Bay said, like, look, this is what it is. This is what it's not.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm not about to be spending money getting my passport stamp and you playing. You know, and so
Exactly.
I feel like
I got tickets to pay for.
Right,
Like,
right. You see what I'm saying? And so I think now we're learning the difference. This is just my opinion. I've learned the difference between, you know, talking, dating, exclusively dating, and being in a relationship. And sometimes those can get intertwined.
I hate the talking stage.
Yeah, the talking is, but then like girls get it confused. I'm like Zach said, I'm just collecting data. I need to see if you're gonna pour in
Not
your insecurities on
collecting
me.
data.
Yeah, that's I'm
Nah, for
dating
real.
to collect
For
data.
real.
Now, exclusively dating means I'm only collecting data from your library or from your encyclopedia, and then we move on to a relationship where I get a library card. So you get what I'm saying? Yeah, you like that, huh?
Yeah.
So, but I did want to say, like, you know, I had no idea that me and our co-host Melissa Mack, we sat down this past February for Love Millennial Style with a couple named Calvin and Gloria Harrison. And before we share this clip, it's very dear to my heart because Calvin passed away last week, you guys. And our love and condolences go out to his family, his beautiful wife, Gloria. And I actually come to find out, I actually know his twin grandkids.
Wow.
And so I was real close with their mother growing up as a kid. And so I watched them grow up myself. So I just want to say, personally, thank you for literally sharing your life with Young Voices Making Choices. He was married for 62 years, y'all. I ain't never made it 3. Y'all gotta clap, man. 62 years? 62 years? With one woman.
I can't even imagine liking somebody for 62 years.
Right. I don't even like my kids, and they here. But he told me something. He said love is literally a give and take thing, and that some days he said some days that I had to let her win, even though she might have not been right. But because I love her, to keep the peace in the house, this is how you get to 62 years. I'm giving some, you giving some.
Right.
It's a give and take, and nobody's just giving, and the other person is just receiving. And of course, they've actually beat the test of times to go through different generations, especially with the last 100 years. We've had so many shifts, and for them to be married 62 years, you hear 20, you hear 30, you may even hear 40 or 50, but I've really very rarely heard anything over 60 years. So my heart and my love goes to the Harrison family. Are we going to play the clip? Do we have the clip? So we're getting ready to roll the clip from this past February, Love Millennial Style, and what that looks like. Shout out to the Harrisons, Gloria and Calvin. Calvin, rest in peace. So you guys have been married your entire lives.
Yeah, almost. For the people that are coming up today, it's like they don't seem to know what love is, true love. It's so easy for them to give up.
One of the things that I look for, especially that I saw in her, that's what just attracted me, is when we were dating, I got the impression I was with somebody that I was going to spend my life with, be someone I could depend on. If something happened to me, she would have my back. And that's exactly what she's done all this time. I don't think younger people today think about that.
Right.
It's, what can you do for me today, right now? Life is not right now. Life is a continuation.
Wow, such powerful words.
Once again, let's give it up for the Harrison family. Rest in peace to the memory of Calvin, Gloria. Our prayers and hearts to you, to the family. Our prayers and hearts to you. We just wanted to start that off with the love. Now we on Aspen. Aspen, what you got for us?
This month is also Stroke Awareness Month, people. The key to surviving the stroke is to act fast. FAST is an easy way to remember the acronym for common symptoms of a stroke. Recognition of the stroke and calling 911. Both are necessary actions needed to take to get the best results, and also just quickly get to the hospital for least injury as well as fast recovery. We do have a clip to show for remembering the acronym for acting on a stroke.
We got clips today, y'all. Come on, technology. Hey.
Facial weakness?
Yes, facial weakness is the first sign. Arm weakness is the second sign. Speech difficulty. And all of these do not have to occur at the same time, any of these signs. And then you need to call 911. Each second is important. Time loss is brain loss. So people, let's definitely remember these signs as we approach this month.
That is a good acronym, Aspen.
Yes, and at this time, we would love to pay so much deserved respect and appreciation for the life of John Singleton, great screenwriter, producer, director, such an amazing soul who lost his life due to complications of a stroke. He is known for the timeless hits of our generation and before that have appealed to definitely all generations, like Baby Boy.
That's
what
my
else,
movie,
y'all? Poetic Justice.
Boys
Four
in the
Brothers.
Hood.
Boys in the Hood.
Boys in the Yep. Yeah.
The show. What's the show he got on? Is it? What's the show called? Let me look it up. It's a show that he's doing about the drug epidemic in South Central LA. Let me look it up right now.
Oh, really?
Yep, I'm looking it
I
up right
know
now.
for sure Luke Cage. I
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
like
Yeah.
that. Definitely did. And Hustle and Flow.
Yeah.
Shaft.
Oh, Shaft. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was
Definitely.
it
Snowfall.
Fat-
Snowfall.
like Fast Furious?
Yeah,
or
he was
something?
in
He did
Fast
number
and
two.
Furious
He did number
yeah.
two.
He's
Yeah.
the reason why, like,
Yes.
it became a little bit more African American based on
Oh,
the
yeah,
entire
the little-
and the rims and things like.
the
You watched the
Tokyo,
making of it,
yeah.
and it's also his show Snowfall, which is just got picked up for his third season.
Yes.
So if I'm not mistaken, I believe his passing was either they were right in the end of filming or wrapping up filming for season 3. That then the show Snowfall is pretty much based on the drug epidemics, how it affects different people in the community in the South Central area. So he had a major love for South Central Los Angeles, and if it wasn't for Ricky wearing, or not Cuba Gooding Jr., but what's his name, man? Morris Chestnut wearing a Crenshaw hoodie. Our dear brother, rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle would have never even got that idea to have that Crenshaw thing. So he actually paid tribute to John Singleton for repping the Crenshaw district and the Crenshaw area. So our hats to him, and we lost another one, y'all.
Yes.
Yes.
And even though we have been dealing with a lot of stuff when it comes to South Central and, a drug epidemic, amongst the national observance during this month of May is National Mental Health Awareness. So according to mentalhealth.gov, mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we think, how we feel, and how we act. And it also helps determine how we handle stress, how we relate to others, and just make choices in general. So mental health is important at every stage of life, from childhood to adolescence through adulthood. So I feel that mental health is at the forefront of our issues, specifically for our generations, just looking around us. And just in pop culture, in our culture in general, living in LA, like you see mental health issues all over, and people are not really getting that help that they really deserve.
Yeah. I feel like it's one of those things, like, it's so ingrained in our culture, we don't even realize. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, I've been through it myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure, I shouldn't even just say me, I'm sure all of us have been through it.
Yeah,
but it's one of those things where it's kind of like, especially in, like, the black community, it's just like, oh, that's something, you just get over it. You know what I'm saying? And
go to church, pray it out.
You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that, where it's like, you're depressed, and then it becomes a thing where, like, okay, today I'm depressed, tomorrow I'm depressed, and then it's kind of then like, okay, how do I get, how do I get out of this situation? You don't want to talk to anybody because you don't really want to tell your boy, like, bro, I'm depressed. You know what I'm saying? So it then moves to, okay, well, the weed helps. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The Henny helps. You know what I'm saying?
And then if you look at, and later we'll speak about some of the artists that describe this, and you'll see this in our clips further on. But Mac Miller was explaining in one of his clips that it wasn't about the weed, because the weed would then make me feel more. It would make me think about it more.
Yeah.
So he began to get more numbing drugs.
Yeah.
So different drugs have different effects, and depending on how you deal with your stress and how you handle it is a specific potion. Like how XXX used to say, the love for the recipe for a broken heart, like mix a little bit of weed with a little bit of this with a little bit of that, we're gonna be all right. So each individual person has their potion where it becomes toxic at a certain point.
And like I think that it's kind of misunderstood that even to have a mental illness that we have to like be on basically be on drugs or look like we're on drugs.
Self-medicate.
Some people our homeless population. There's a lot of people suffering from a mental illness there, but we have a lot of functional people like doctors and lawyers that are addicted to popping pills and other things like that.
Opioids.
Yeah,
and you'd be surprised. People get hurt, and when they get hurt, they go to the hospital, and then they get a simple pill to help with that temporary issue, and they take it as prescribed. And because they take it as prescribed, then they feel like they need to have it after that. Yeah. So for me personally, if I go to the doctor, I will get enough pills or whatever. I hate medication, but I'll take it. But the minute I stop feeling pills, unless specifically the doctor says you need to take this pill, if it's like a anti-inflammatory or something like that. But if it's a pain pill, I'm not going to take it anymore if I don't feel any pain, because then at that point you start developing an addiction. So
But they said the money is in the treatment, it's not in the cure. You know what I'm saying? So even like I would even say, as far as like a lot of things that have to do with like mental health, when you go to a psychiatrist and they give you pills for these things, like you really don't need pills. You know what I'm saying? But they're giving you that. So all that's gonna happen is that you don't really, because really with mental health, a lot of the times is we got to look inside. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I had to do. I'm not trying to delve too deep into it right now, but you have to look inside, and that's where you get the fix. You know what I'm saying? That's where you fix it. Like, when you start taking pills and when you start smoking and when you start, that's all that does is make things worse. And you got to take more pills and you got to take more medication. So it's just one of those things. You know what I'm saying?
We got to take correct action. But
I think you guys spoke on it. You said it earlier, like praying it out and just going to church and screaming it out. I just recently went to a training with my church with a clinical licensed psychologist and specialized in mental health and what it looks like from the church's perspective, the Black church's perspective. So I think this awareness is now affecting different parts of our community, and so now we can now start to move forward and to better tackle this issue.
So yeah, obviously, I mean, we're talking about mental health, but we could see this in, the mass shootings and the increased number of mass shootings nationwide. Like we said, we could see in the music, XXS, etc. That was a hard one. But you know what I'm saying? So definitely mental health is an issue that we need to address nationwide, worldwide. And obviously, like just earlier this week, there was a mass shooting at UNC. 2 killed, 4 injured. We don't have too much information on the shooter, just that he's 22-year-old Tristan Andrews Terrell, and he was also a UNC student.
Wow, y'all. That facial expression.
Yeah.
It really...
I'm trying to figure out how they handcuffed him. They would have killed him.
Well, the thing, to be honest, I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina, and that literally was right up the street from my parents' house. So, like, that really hits home for me, seeing, like, some of the people, like my godbrother was locked down in that school when that thing happened, and I'm getting text messages, I'm calling, I'm like, hey, what's going on? So thank God my family's okay, but I do want to give condolences to the 2 victims that were shot and killed, and then as well as any of the other victims that are currently in hospital care. But yeah.
What about, this isn't the first time we've had somebody commit such a heinous act. You guys remember Dylan Roof? We have, I think we have a picture coming up. Dylan Roof, he was the American white supremacist and mass murderer he just recently was sentenced to death because he perpetrated a Charleston church shooting in June 2017 and 2015 in South Carolina. And 9 African Americans were killed after just, really sharing the good news of the Lord and praying with him. Like, they literally prayed with him, and then after they were done, he committed this heinous act. Do you guys think he suffered from mental illness, or
no? I don't think so.
I mean, you guys sure?
I think so. I think he did it on purpose for sure. But there was no remorse, and I think that is definitely a telltale sign of mental illness when you are able to take, not one life, not two lives, but like multiple people's lives, and do it in a premeditated way and have no remorse. You know, we look at these mug shots and the shots of them coming out, and it doesn't look like, you know, any of them really are too remorseful. And then you follow the trials in some of, at least the past ones, it really aren't that remorseful.
But is that mental illness? Or
That's
is
what
that
my
just
thing is that like when it comes to mental illness, like he even declined having. Like, because they came to him, the prosecutor came to him and said, "Do you want to file as having a mental illness?" And he declined that.
Because I mean,
and not even just that. Just because you're racist doesn't mean that you have a mental illness.
But the majority of our population, we don't go for help. We don't ask for help. Remember, we're self-medicating. We're popping pills.
But we ain't shooting up schools.
But yeah,
no, I'm not saying, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. But so don't you think that is some sign of a mental illness? Because, you know, us here that have experienced mental illnesses like depression and stuff, we're not up here shooting schools.
Right.
But that is so irrational, you know, so definitely they're insane. I think that person is insane.
Would you say everybody in the KKK is mentally ill?
I think that if you have a distinctive hate towards a group of people that you know absolutely nothing about, and like individually,
but that's not being mentally
I'm
ill.
I'm not saying being mentally ill, but what I'm saying is if you're a member of that society and you kill people, yes, I feel, and you have no remorse. You're saying, I don't feel bad for taking these lives because they're African American, even though they pray for me. Yes, I feel you're mentally ill. You are insane, and you're not thinking rationally.
I think
that's my opinion.
My perspective is now we have to start understanding. So, for example,
it's
been perpetrated too much for these mass, predominantly Caucasian males to use mental illness as an excuse.
Right.
And so you have to throw that in the bucket. But then you also have to start throwing in the bucket the difference between being mentally ill and being a sociopath or a psychopath. You know what I'm saying?
That is a mental
illness. Just
the way they define it. So in my mind, you know, we mental, like if there also is mental, the depression the same level of you being a psychotic sociopath?
No,
but it's all considered mental.
No, but I'm saying there's levels. There's a spectrum. Like you said, depression. You know, honestly, some people kill themselves off of being depressed.
Themselves.
Like, yeah, they'll kill themselves.
I'd rather you kill yourself than shoot up a school.
But then there's also like you said, the other side of the spectrum where there's sociopaths who burn stuff and who kill people and who walk into, for example, the guy who perpetrated the Joker and walked into that movie theater. You know, that I felt crazy. For sure.
Yeah, he was crazy.
Right, there's a spectrum to it, but definitely a spectrum to it.
Sure.
But definitely, Bae, I know you have some good stuff for us regarding music.
The good
in
things.
Love your music.
Yeah,
the good
things.
Look, this is a special place in my heart because of the fact that, like, not only have we been dealing with mental illness in the personal aspect, but we have people that we look up to that our music. I'd like to mention YNW Melly, whose real name is Jamel Demons. What in the name? So, Demon is now facing the death penalty in the state of Florida for allegedly murdering two of his friends who were also members of the YNW crew.
That's deep. Ooh. I didn't even know about this.
Yes. So, the songs that helped him, the songs that helped him make him famous are Murder on My Mind and Mind on My Murder. They're evidently two of the witnesses' prosecutors' plans to convict Melly. Oh, it's going to play in just a second. So before discussing the depth of his admitted mental illness, because it's pretty evident to me, let's take a look at some of the testimony that may appear in the trial against YNW Melly.
I didn't even mean to shoot him. He just caught me by surprise. I reloaded my pistol, cocked it back and shot him twice. His body dropped down to the floor and he had teardrops in his eyes. He grabbed me by my hands and said he was afraid to die. I told him it's too late, my friend, it's time to say goodbye. And he died inside my arms, blood all on my shirt. Wake up in the morning, I got murder on my mind. AK-47s, Mac 11, Glocks and 9. Baby, it's a homicide, He just shot me and I dropped down to the floor. He said I caught him by surprise. He was shell shot God, and he claimed he didn't know. I grabbed his hand cause I was terrified. Said I was scared to die. He just watched my blood spill out and die slow. I looked him right inside the eyes. He looked inside my eyes. Asked him would I survive. He shook his head no. Melvin, my other person inside, Melvin, that mother, yeah, every day, all day. That's all you be thinking about. Some people think about it when they wake up. Some people think about shoes. Some people think about weird shit. They wake up with the murder on his mind. And I'm like, hey, bro, do you? Got mixed personality. I really do though, Melvin. He been inside of me. Like, he been in, like, mentally, like, inside of me, but I ain't have a name for him, like, when I was in the streets. Until one day, I met Hennessy, and then he was just, I looked in the mirror, he was like, Melvin! I was like, what the f***? We got, like, a contract going on, like, I guess he get, like, 12 hours, and I get 12 hours. 12 a.m., I can't control it after that. So it's just like, heat up. Ain't no putting him away, none of that shit. That boy, Melly is the lover. He is the lover. He just got that personality, like, you know what I'm saying? Melvin is a lover, but when she hurt Melvin, she block you on Instagram. You got a Facebook. I'm coming. That was Melvin, my bad. I swear to God, that was that was Melvin. And I murdered the beat. I am not no human murderer.
So he said, I murder the beat. I am not a human murderer, as he looked off. What do you guys have to say about
That's
that?
a lot to digest.
Are they still doing the investigation?
Yes.
So let me not speak on nobody's case. You know, I learned that. Yeah, he looked crazy. I'm gonna just call it what it is. And I'm not even just saying that look, just his whole demeanor. So I'm not gonna judge people off their looks. I'm gonna just judge off, first off, that unique style of a music video.
Yeah.
You know, that takes a lot to really.
I mean, the music, what he talking about.
The way he talking about it.
Shooting your friend and dying
And
in
then
your arms and
specifically-
not
Yeah.
even.
And then specifically, he is on trial for basically the instance is that he was in a car, him and one of his
friend. Yeah.
3 of his other members of the YNW crew. 2 of the members were shot and killed. They claimed allegedly because of the fact that it was a drive-by shooting. Now, cases are coming. Prosecutors are saying that the gunshots seem to have been coming from the inside of the vehicle, and that they had been driving around for apparently a long amount of time before they got into the hospital. Now, if you see it in the clip, where the paramedics were coming to save the boy that Melly had in his hands, he was like, no, like that. He was pushing him away.
Oh, for real?
Almost in the same aspect of driving around, not bringing your friend to the hospital that you shot and killed.
So it seemed like he did this to boost his.
That's what I'm saying.
So is that a mental illness? Do y'all think?
And that's my thing.
come
It's
on,
very.
Crazy.
It's like it's either two things. Either he is mentally ill, clearly. You know, he obviously has this person, Melvin.
I was about to say
I was
either
talking
him or
about
Melvin. I don't know
Melvin.
which one is.
I'm
the
calling you out,
superior.
Melvin.
Wait,
But
that's not part of his name.
No,
No.
no.
Maurice.
No, Melvin was the other person. Remember?
Jamel Demons, right? That's his name.
Uh-huh.
He didn't know who he didn't know who this person was. He was just walking around until he drank Hennessy, and he looked in the mirror and
So
he
like
said,
a double schizophrenia,
and
double
exactly
personality.
double
split
person,
personality.
split
Yeah.
person. He has a song called "Mixed Personalities" with
Kanye as well.
Kanye West.
So
Yeah.
what if? You know, I've seen that movie Split, so
Yeah.
I think anything
Yeah, I watched
possible.
that
I'm
too,
like,
dog.
He
Yeah,
said that he
I
has a
believe
12-hour
something.
contract
Yeah.
with him with this.
Crazy.
Oh yeah, you think he'll get away?
I'm not saying he'll get away.
Get off with, you know.
I'm not saying
doing life in a mental institution?
either he is mentally unstable or he is a maniacal genius.
Oh, because
To
I
get
mean,
away with
Florida
it.
trying to kill him. They looking for the death penalty.
Of course.
They ain't playing no
But
games.
he may get off with being mentally insane.
just bite off this proof we just
But
saw
he
too.
just came out with a mixtape just this week, so he's using that money to get that prosecution up, get that defense attorney up,
Wow.
and he may get off. It depends.
Well, that is up to them. Zach, I know you want to talk about XXX Tentacion. Tentacion. It's
Oh, that's
always
what
a
it is.
tongue
I just call him
twister
Skittle.
for me.
Extension.
Always.
Nah, yeah, so first of all, rest in peace to XXX.
Yes,
Fellow
man.
Jamaican, so you already know. But what I liked about XXX and what I think we talking about mental illness, what I think is so important that he did is he spoke freely about his pain. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, that's without covering it up, without using something to buffer it. You know, that's really where it starts. That's really where the help starts and the treatment starts. So, like I said, rest in peace to XXX. But he also shed a lot of light on how relationships and the relationship factor can lead to suicide and depression in males. You know what I'm saying? That's something that as guys we don't like to talk about. You know what I'm saying? So also his video Sad, we're gonna look at it right now, has 112 million views on YouTube, and you know I think that's a very telling factor about how everybody else is feeling.
I'm not afraid to let go. You decide if you're ever gonna let me know. Yeah, suicide if you ever try to let go. I'm sad and know, yeah, I'm sad.
I never seen that.
So Aspen just scared me.
Like, she hasn't seen that music video.
I know, but she just, yeah.
Sorry, y'all. I scared her.
Do you think that was good for him to, I mean, from what I looked at the brief clip, to see like a battle that's raging on in his depressed moments or things like that?
Yeah, no, definitely.
With suicide, because I don't know, I've never experienced those thoughts. I have suffered from certain levels of mental illness, but even as a man, I think that pressure that we instantly feel, as a black man, we instantly feel, as we've already taught to know to protect and provide and things like that. You know, when I as a father, I've read different articles about dads who just snapped, like whether or not, you know, they couldn't see their kids or they couldn't pay their child support. I've experienced some of that pressure, but I've never gotten to its peak, and so I wouldn't even know what that battle looks like. But looking at that, he had like a little Kanye West thing where it has this hidden message in his music to express his pain and what he's gone through and what he has been through. And I think that shows a testament to his artistry. It's sad that he lost his life the way he did, but I think he showed a different light on what suicide and depression looks like. It's a day by day battle. It's not just something. Okay, now I wake up, I want to kill myself, and it's over. Yeah, exactly. But it takes a power. It takes sometimes, to me, it takes strength to even do that.
To be
even
honest,
get rid of yourself.
I feel you.
And I like the fact that he, as men don't like to talk about, you know, getting in their feelings after a relationship and after a relationship that you know didn't work out and stuff.
He said suicide if you try to let go.
Right. Like, you know, he was real, and he was like, you know, talk about how he was sad and, you know, I want to kill myself if, you know, if you want to leave me. And, you know, that's some real feelings that people actually feel.
Toxic man.
We joke about that, though.
We joke about it, but this is
I've
real.
Laughed. I've actually laughed. Like, oh, you break up with a dude, if you don't get back with me, I'll kill myself. You be like, that dude really said that? Like,
shit. No, I've had plenty of relationships where people will literally be like, look, if you play with me, I'm gonna kill myself. You all I have to live for. And it's that toxic feeling
Yeah,
of like you
yeah.
almost feel obligated to be around someone you don't want to be with.
In a relationship that's already toxic.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And
Yeah.
that goes back to what you said about knowing yourself first and being
Yeah.
comfortable with yourself.
Before you.
Exactly.
Tell y'all Zach the Love Guru. You're gonna get a book.
But I definitely would love to talk about Mac Miller, man, a phenomenal American rapper, songwriter, musician, record producer. But he's also another artist who was very, very open and transparent about his daily struggle with the challenges that come with fame, as well as mental illness and drug addiction. The National Alliance of Mental Illness, records that approximately 10.2 million adults, y'all, have co-occurring mental health and addiction disorders. Over the many decades, there have been an increasing rate of self-diagnosing as well as self-medicating, as we can see, through him talking about the Henny. And especially, it's been depicted in music today.
Mm-hmm.
So we would love to also talk about Mac Miller's one of his phenomenal songs called Brand Name, where he talked about one phenomenal quote that stuck out to me was when he was talking to his drug dealers, saying that, I hope that, you don't mix up something that will make me a part of the 27-year-old club, which is a club of phenomenal, great people who have passed away before the age of 27 due to overdose. And unfortunately, he passed away at 26 years of age. I
Rest in
definitely want
peace,
to
Mac.
give my condolences. We love you, and thank you for being so transparent about what you went through. We are going to share a clip that Fader created a documentary. It's called Stopped Making Excuses, and here is some things that Mac Miller had to say to us about his daily struggle.
Weed didn't relax me from everything. It made me more paranoid about all the shit happening, right? So, I needed to get a drug that was a little more numbing, if you will, and less, in your head. So, yeah, I think that's really what sparked me doing other drugs, is because I hate being sober. I wanted a drug to do.
No, this is too much, though. This is the pure.
Wait, no.
It's not that.
I'm saying that's how it feels.
You're not listening to me.
No, I know
this is not even the one that you think is it.
Yeah.
This is the one that's it. That's really it.
What, more than activist?
Listen to me. I'm your brother. This right here.
I'll taste it. I'll let you know.
You're gonna miss a couple of shows.
No way. No way. This is perfect. I'd rather be the corny white rapper than the drugged out mess who can't even get out of his house. Overdosing is just not cool. There's no legendary romance. You don't go down in history because you overdosed. You just die. When you stop making excuses for myself, that's really when it was. When it's like I step out and look at how this looks to someone who doesn't have any idea that I'm famous, whatever, just walks in and looks at the situation, they're gonna be like, this is f***ed up, Being able to admit that's not the way to live. And you can still have fun every now and then. I'm not sober, I get fucked up. Let's keep it real. I get super fucked up still, all the time. That will never stop. But I'm just in control of my life. I'm not fucked up right now. I'm chilling.
So what do y'all think about his realness on, his daily struggle?
He said he was in control. He wasn't.
I mean, the thing is, with this mental health stuff, it's with anything else in life, it's some days you are, some days you got bad days. You know what I'm saying? In life, what you got to learn is to be able to balance the bad with the good. Because there's days when it's really bad and you're like, bro, I'm just going to do this thing I haven't done for this long. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what happens when life hits you with certain type of blows. You know what I'm saying? It's unfortunate that it hit Mac the way it did. you know what I'm saying, and for whatever reason he overdosed, and he's not here anymore. But like I said, like that's just life. We got to learn how to deal with it.
I think that what not bothers me, but what brings awareness to my mind, two things: that he was so into the situation that he wasn't even listening to French.
Right.
Seeing that, I'm like, dang, it really be like that.
French Montana,
Yeah.
like that's
bro,
not
you need to chill out.
Yeah.
And there's one thing, like, oh, bro, let's do this, but it's nothing like, no. That's
you gonna
That's
miss a couple
what-
shows,
Yeah.
right?
and he just laughing, like and then he said something so. He said, "I don't like being sober."
Yeah.
I'm like, how much pain is somebody really enduring to never want to have an instant of sobriety?
Yeah.
Just to he doesn't even want a moment to even feel regular life issues. That he'd rather be intoxicated or high to numb out all his pain. Like what is the depth of his pain, and what is the amount of pain that he struggles with? And so that's.
I mean, it's not even that. You know what I'm saying? It's not even a situation where it's like that out of this world to think, because I feel like a lot of people are in that situation
with weed.
And,
With weed.
I mean, it's not
Like-
even just with weed. I just mean like the situation where like people are in so much pain, because a lot of people might look at it and say, "Oh wait, that's what you know what I'm saying? That's what you feel like that's about." But like at the end of the day, it's really to each his own.
To each his
You
own.
know what I'm
Everybody
saying?
has their own poison.
Yeah, and then like not even the poison. It's just like a situation that might seem to you as not like as bad, to somebody else is like the end of the world. You know what I'm saying? And so like how they choose to deal with it, yeah, that's where we get to the poison. You know what I'm saying?
I think we also struggle, like all of us sometimes, I think we struggle with the invincibility fable. Like we think that we could do so much and then nothing will
And
happen.
nothing will happen, yeah.
Nothing will happen to us. Like the studio scene when French Montana was like, "Yo, bro," like his
This
friend
ain't it.
telling him like,
Yeah,
"Y'all don't do
yeah,
it. Like
yeah.
you're gonna really like this is not what
You
you
know,
think
like,
it is."
French was doing
how
it
French,
too.
yeah, you know?
French was
People
doing
know.
it too, but it's
Right,
like,
not
bro,
that.
you
Right,
you
in
ODing
moderation
on it.
though, and
Yeah.
that's where the concern comes in. It's like where mental illness gets to a point where there is no moderation,
Yeah.
where it's just excess and as much as possible,
Yeah.
so I can feel higher than the time before.
Yeah.
Which is, usually an illusion, unless unfortunately people end up overdosing. But this is a real issue that definitely has to be talked about, and just people need to be educated on it, and don't be afraid to say that you are going through something, and that we might not always reach out to the healthiest source of I guess therapy,
Wisdom.
which
Yeah.
because I mean sometimes self-medication is a form of your own therapy.
Yeah.
But there's definitely so many more positive, more effective options out there that we are going to discuss, y'all.
For me personally, I suffer with depression and anxiety, diagnosed. I'm not self-diagnosing. So, unfortunately, these past couple of weeks I haven't been with my therapist, but I do seek therapy. I try to go weekly, and I had to be very vocal about not being prescribed medication, because at first they were just trying to throw medication at me. And I had to be very vocal about having a black woman as a therapist, which took nearly a month to get. But I love this woman to death. She is amazing. And black mental health is very important to our community. And, even if you feel like, therapy is just something for crazy people. No, look, there are plenty of there's plenty of other races that take their time and go to their therapy appointments. Black people, we need to take our time and be like, look, if you have Medi-Cal, if you have free health insurance, or if you're paying your own money for health insurance, go seek therapy if you need to.
Yes.
You getting
My bad, y'all. Yeah,
I
I'm
know.
anemic, y'all.
I'm about to
I get
say it's
cold.
your turn.
I get
You
cold
here.
quick. Listen, hey, I'm anemic. I get cold quick. Now that we've explored mental health and mental illness, specifically within our generation, what that looks like on the music, the different civil issues that are going on, like, where do we go from here? And I want to hear from everybody. Where do we go from here before we get into our next segment? Because, actress Taraji P. Henson on Dr. Oz show, she is speaking against the stigmas attached to mental illness and is advocating for cultural competent services. Like, so we're going to play that clip, and then we're going to go around the room and see, like, where do we go from here when it comes to mental illness and mental health, and what that looks like for young black millennials especially. And here's the clip.
you have to be culturally competent in order for me to feel safe sharing my deepest secrets and what my fears and being vulnerable. So when it came time to look for a therapist that looked like me, there were none. It was like looking for a unicorn.
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying they don't exist, but it wasn't easily accessible. So I discussed it with my best friend, who also had her bouts with anxiety. And so we decided to do something about it. And I think in the African American community, it's been such a taboo. We really don't take care of our mental. We don't, and we should. We suppress a lot, and it comes off as, and when we do express ourselves, it comes off as rage. Well, we have a lot to be upset about, right? But and not to shun those feelings, but they need to be channeled, or they need to be expressed in a healthy way. And what I found disturbing is that we can talk about our thyroid. I can sit up here and talk about my gastritis, but when it comes to our mental, which is all a part of total health care, we miss that beat. And that's because for so long, we've been told to pray our problems away. We've been demonized. We've been misdiagnosed.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of trust issues. So I decided to do something about it. And I think the misconception with celebrities and people that you look up to in film and television is that we got it all together just because we have money. Well, money doesn't make your issues go away. Because when they yell cut on set and I take this wig off and these lashes, he looked at my hair like, that's a wig. Yep. But when the Taraji and the limelight comes off, I go home to real problems just like everybody else that money can't solve.
Right. Yeah, that was Taraji on Dr. Oz show speaking. I'm going to just go first. I've never been diagnosed professionally, but, I know I'm from the hood, y'all, so PTSD for sure. Mm-hmm. For sure. Dealing with the police, gangs, shootings, and things like that, even anxiety. I know last year, 2018, I lost 3 family members and 4 friends in a matter of 4 or 5 months.
My condolences,
And
bro.
so I was overwhelmed with death, and I realized I actually went to a therapist. And I really didn't care about the race at the time because I was really in a really bad space. Mm-hmm. I can deal with that on the later end, but because being in clergy and doing these things for so long, I didn't know how to ever process death. Mm-hmm. I've never been able to really process it because I've seen it so much. My first friend got killed when I was 13. 8 men have died from my graduating class of middle school. The day we buried our icon Nipsey, my friend was killed that night, mm-hmm. and I had to be at the hospital. Then I had to preach his eulogy, and so I've never been able to deal with it when it's personal. Mm-hmm. When it's other people's stuff, I can cry, I can empathize, I can sympathize. But for me, I've never been able to process. And this the preacher y'all talking. Mm-hmm. Go to church, pray and holler and scream, do all that. But I had to get to a place now,
right?
Yeah, I had to get to a place now where I was like, why am I like this? And before I move, I think one of the things that it has negative stigmas, but I think it's a defense mechanism.
Yes, that is.
Dr. Joy Guru, post-traumatic slave syndrome, we have been conditionally trained, our minds, to be able to protect us in a certain instances when it comes to big trauma. And that's something that our ancestors passed down through us because we have to stay strong because you not staying strong, it can be a matter of life or death.
Right. Yeah.
And so we don't have time, don't tell me how you feel because you're wasting time because the dogs are chasing us.
Yeah.
You can't cry because they're shooting at us.
Yeah.
You can't cry because if we fall too deep into this swamp, they're going to kill everybody. Even, and I'll move on with this, even with kids questioning, why, Granny? In the old school, you're not allowed to ask me why because when I say get up from the table, let's go, you're asking me why. The Klan can be in the house and blow up the whole house, and now you lost. So
that goes into the running mechanism. Black people, when we see people running, we don't ask why. We just start running with them.
That's PTSD at its finest.
At its finest.
We laugh, we joke. I think we've done a good thing of finding joy in our pain.
Black people
but
tend
we have
to
to start realizing, man, why am I
right? Yeah. Why don't look and check why I'm running?
Yeah, why can't I ask why? Why can't I know what's going on? Yeah. Why is there so much anxiety to not be in control? And so I think we need to do a better give each other grace when it comes to these different response mechanisms that we do incur. Because, like Taraji said, we got a right to be mad. We are the only people on this planet that never had the right to be human. If you look at that, we never had a chance to be just to have blood inside of us.
You know
We
what?
always have to stay strong and be strong and da 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 da. Whether it's in America, outside of America,
especially our men too.
Melanin, you are automatically strong. Automatically, you don't have the time to be human. And I think we have to start giving each other grace when it comes to different things and seeking help. Like, hey man, I understand how you feel.
Like, when have you seen your parents cry? Like, can you count on your hand how many times you've seen your parents cry?
Only at funerals. My mom
I'm gonna
cries
say my
a little bit more
mom,
than
but
dad.
I've never seen any
I've
male.
never. The
Yeah.
only I've seen my father cry one time, and that was at my grandmother's funeral. And my
Mine
entire
too.
life.
Same.
I feel like, where do we go from here? Like, Taraji P. Henson, in the rest of the interview, she said we need to talk about it and educate each other and ourselves, and that is so true. I think it first comes with accepting, because a lot of people don't like to accept they have a mental illness, because they pair mental illness with, like she said,
crazy.
demonizing or being
The church has done
crazy
a
or
bad
something
job,
like
yeah.
that. And it's not that. It's okay to say, you know what, I lost my friend and I'm going crazy right
Yeah.
now.
I'm in a
Like,
horrible relationship.
right.
going
And
crazy.
it's okay to not be in an okay spot. Where I feel it's a problem is when we take to drugs and then we end up losing our jobs, or we end up, regressing in life and killing ourselves, like
Yeah.
really, and killing our bodies, like killing our dreams, killing our
Exactly.
goals. Like
Yeah.
that's where it becomes not productive at all.
Can I say
Not
something?
healthy.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna say it real quick. Even my vice is sweets, and so I realized
Oh, you real skinny.
Nah,
Listen.
fully.
Bro, that
that's what
sugar-
that's what I'm saying,
Listen
bro.
to me. Like when I've had a hard day,
Yeah.
and my kids, and I'll literally quit, and it really
Ice cream.
soothes me. Like I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel better. Because I need that quick little fix to mentally tell myself that you have enough strength to make it to the next day.
Yeah.
And so it's not always weed or drug. Food.
Food, yeah.
Yeah, people
unhealthy
overeating,
food,
unhealthy
yeah.
food, always craving things.
Fried
because-
foods,
cigarettes.
because we're never
I'm-
around
yeah.
a place to vent. Like we don't have we just can't.
Yeah.
I should be able to call you and cry, bro. Like Zach, man, woo, and you be like, bro, I got you.
Fully.
Nah,
And
man,
even-
not suck it up, man. Stay hard.
Right.
You good.
Yeah.
Nah, man, no.
Right.
And I have done a better job with parenting my sons. Because in the beginning, I had a lot of toxicity in my parenting, but I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
Now that I'm learning, I'm like, Jaden, tell me how you feel. Kyrie, why are you crying? These are the consequences for what you did. It's okay. But then I'm holding them to a certain standard, because as men, we need a space to breathe and to vent, but we also need a space to, you're going to have to suck it up because we got people to protect.
Yeah.
Right.
So now that's a different level of training.
And
But
it's
not at
hard.
9.
It's hard. It's hard. As I don't have children, but it's hard. I can tell it's hard to raise sons and tell them, like, as I experienced with my older brother, you're not allowed to cry, things like that. And as we grow with our kids, we have to be like, all right, why are you crying? So I love the fact that you're parenting your kids in a way that says, why are you crying? Not stop crying, you're a man, you know?
Right.
Right.
It took a while. Because I'm so used to a certain culture.
Yeah.
But now getting help myself and I need to call my therapist
Yeah.
back. Like, let me call this lady and set these sessions up, because my 9-year-old, I'm trying to do my best for my 9, 8, and 7-year-old son to not enter the same space that I was once in, and can lead to lasting effects. When you know
Right.
better, you do better. And so if my son encounters Zach's kids or his daughter, and they happen to come together as
Hey,
a
what you
relationship-
talking about?
You got a daughter? You got a kid?
but
Oh,
hypothetically
Akila.
speaking, I don't want him to have children and be like, no, my son can't cry. No, you got to be a man.
Right.
No,
And
man.
you know, like looking at like the future with this, if it's a thing, like obviously, like it's coming to accept this. You know what I'm saying? It's coming to accept that. Yeah, as men we can cry. You know, as men we do go through things. We're not like these robots that
Right.
you know what I'm saying. Everybody expect, and not just men, black women too. You know what I'm saying? Y'all not robots. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all go through a lot. Y'all go through just like men. Y'all go through sometimes even worse. But
Man.
what I'm really saying is like, think about it like this: if all of us in this room, or all of us in our generation, accept this mental health issue, and accept that, okay, maybe I do have a problem, maybe I do go seek therapy. You know what happens in the next generation after we understand? Okay, oh, that's how you work it out. You know, these are the things that the therapist says. Okay, I know, I understand. Like, I feel better when we talk about these stuff. You know what happens? Like you said, you are the therapist for your family, and your family becomes a therapist for their family. So you don't even have to come out to the house. You know what I'm saying?
That's good.
Because the thing for me is, you know, and I do psychology at USC, but my mom was my first psychologist, and my mom still is my first psychologist, because really, I'm the psychologist for my dogs. You know what I'm saying? I'm the one, you know, they talk about the one that everybody come to with their problems.
Come to you. But when you call your mom, you feel a whole man.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, I'm the one that everybody come to. So who do I come to?
Right. If men don't have that,
you know what I'm saying?
That, yeah.
If I'm the one who everybody come to, then who do I go to when I feel away? You know what I'm saying? The only person is, like I said, my mom's. You know what I'm saying? You know, so that's who I talk to. But like I said, that it's learning from, this is what makes me feel better, you know, when we talk about these type of stuff. And then, like I said, learning that, and then being able to, when my dogs have a problem, we talk it out, you know what I'm saying? And they feel better, you know what I'm saying? So they always joke around and say, is that a psychologist?
Right.
But that, you know what I'm saying? It helps, though. You know what I'm saying? It helps. And
how do women feel, especially because sometimes black men can be condescending to how you guys feel? To say, you know, you're being too emotional, you're expressing yourself, and to be in an environment where it's praised when a Latin woman is angry. Oh, that's cute. But when you guys are angry, it's bad. It's like, why she's been... You get what I'm saying? Like,
I have to, for me, personally, I have to acknowledge my light-skin privilege. I'll be honest with you. I'm just going to be honest. Like, I wouldn't be the person I am without acknowledging that type of privilege. So, sometimes it can be seen as cute, but then I also see that some people still have that. I still have that stigma of, you know, the angry black woman in some cases. So I try to, because I was raised half black and half white, I try to take certain aspects of my Caucasian living and just being around certain people and put on that white face. And when people say certain things to me, I said, okay, well, I would like to sit down with you and talk about how we feel. And I would talk exactly like this, just because I know that the condescending aspect of me getting mad is not going to get me anywhere.
Yeah.
It's not. So sometimes it can be a bad thing because I kind of do it a little too hard. And that goes off in my work sometimes. But I do feel for dark-skinned women who have to consistently deal with that on a stronger basis than me. So I can empathize. I can sympathize, but I cannot empathize on that aspect of angry black women.
Well, I'm not saying I don't think I've never actually been called an angry black woman, but I think that I've tried to embody more peace in my life, and like even when I'm upset, I realize that that's a reflection of me. Like no matter what they did, my response is a reflection of me, and so you know, I think that we should get to a point of communication before it gets to rage, before it gets to disrespect, before it gets to infidelity, before it gets to all those things. We need to talk about it. Hey, if we exclusively dating and you want to be friends again, let's talk about it. You know, before I find out through the great, you know, like
it's
stuff
like
that, and then now we
things
can't
and
even
then
be
it build-
friends,
it
and then
builds up,
now, you know.
But shout out to
feel
Gloria
that-
and Calvin for their relationship.
62
They
years.
talked it through.
Communication,
it's possible.
y'all. And
Even though
so,
she won most of those conversations. But that's another conversation, because you know us. We like, well, I ain't never that mad.
but I
ain't never that
definitely
mad.
think that I'd love when men are more open and more vulnerable with their feelings versus just angry. Like,
You know-
you're not gonna get anything to me. Like, if you come to down an octave and talk to me through your heart chakra, you know,
You
with
know-
your throat chakra,
Y'all
but not
say all
in the
that.
ego stuff.
But where's
like,
on them, bro? They be
No,
I
honestly,
you know what I said though. You know what I said though. It's one of those things because, like, as guys, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking personally. I would love to do that. I just never been, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't raised like that. And that's kind of like society. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't really raised like that.
So I definitely, for me personally, I feel like when a man, especially a black man, I love black men. So when a black man opens up to you and you're in a relationship with a man and he has a moment where he gets emotional with you, it does something.
Yeah. Let me tell you, shiver. Ooh. Let me tell you, come cry on my shoulder. Like, let me bring it in, baby. Like, seriously.
Like boys in the hood. Shout out to John Cena.
I don't, like, rage and the anger stuff, like, that's where we have to get, we can't just communicate then. Like, we just can't communicate when it's that. Like, we have to remember that, we're friends and stuff. So I think that, not even that, just like in general for our own mental health, we have to communicate in a loving manner. Like even, if I communicate with you negatively, that's kind of how that energy is lingering within myself. But y'all, I think it's been that time, y'all.
Already? We need a 90-minute segment.
It's such a great segment.
I know. I feel so emotional.
When mental health, when we start talking about getting a relationship, that's when that whole switch.
Let's go.
Let's go in.
Let's go.
Oh gosh, it has been an amazing show. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Yes.
So next week, the same time, same place. Young Voices making choices.
See y'all. Zach Jones, president.
Bless.